What's going on, YouTube? It's No Fuss Giving back with another video. But first, I want to give a shout out to all my fellow Pisceans out there. Gang. You already know. We in the build done. Also want to give a shout out to all my 2-2s and my 3-3s and my 2-2-2s and my 3-3-3s and my 7-7-7s. And shout out to any other angelical numerical numbers that I may have forgot to mention. Also want to thank everybody for coming out to support the channel. Thank you, and those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell notification, be notified of my upcoming videos and content. And we're going to jump right in. So I'm going to be talking about Pisces. What is the fastest way to lose a Pisces? Now, this might be something you don't want to do, but we're going to discuss it. So first, I want to say what's going on, family. Welcome back to No Fuss Giving, where real recognize real. So here, I'm going to be talking about something that nobody seems to talk about or discuss enough when it comes to Pisces. As you guys know, people are always talking about just the simple dynamics of Pisces, such as, empathy, compassion, and forgiving nature. But there's more to it as to what people don't talk about enough in regards to the boundaries, especially the silent boundaries. So here, people don't oftentimes discuss these things until it's too late. So I'm going to go into it further as to the fastest way to lose a Pisces. So let's get into this. Now, when it comes to the first one I have is the fact that people mistake empathy for an agreement with Pisces. So Pisces may oftentimes listen without judging. So here, this could be good or bad because let's say somebody's venting about, for an hour about their girlfriend, talking to their brother, and then perhaps they may need help as to coming up with a solution as to what's going on. They may not have all the words together. Maybe they're just trying to simply bounce something off to you. And then all of a sudden, let's say the Pisces is working and the Pisces simply listens to the person vent. But then the person assumes that the Pisces agrees with everything that they said. So it could be a situation that just because the Pisces heard you doesn't mean that, hey, I'm with you. Because a lot of times, people oftentimes, they get comfortable being toxic around Pisces, especially when it comes to explaining the story and, going more in depth into a situation when a Pisces has something going on, such as work or has to be somewhere. And see, people oftentimes are shocked because the Pisces eventually distance themselves as a result. Now, the next one I have is that Pisces oftentimes, they notice energy before behaviors. So here, it could be the simple fact that when you look at a Pisces, they can emphasize the intuition. At least that's what they're, stereotyped as. So they can emphasize the intuition and emotional awareness at the same time. So if somebody is smiling, being friendly and saying all the right things, but something feels off, that's what we're referring to with the Pisces intuition. And we know this to be true because the vibe is just, you're not feeling the vibe. It's just not there. So oftentimes it could be that everybody thinks Pisces is overreacting until the person's true character shows up later. Now, another thing with Pisces is that, they can stop caring before they leave. So here, as you guys know, they mentally check out first as they detach. People oftentimes think Pisces leaves suddenly, but that's not the case. And see, it could be a situation where months of disappointment happen quietly, but then all of a sudden you lost the Pisces before they left. And see, the other person ends up believing the breakup came out of nowhere. Now, another thing is that their silence is in the warning signs. Okay, so here, oftentimes Pisces may become quieter before actually ending the relationship. And see, a Pisces can simply detach, all while by stop explaining themselves. They may stop arguing simply and stop defending themselves altogether. So the silence was a warning, but you just missed it. So that's why when people oftentimes they celebrate the silence and don't even realize the relationship is already dying. Now, another thing is that Pisces oftentimes they give more chances than they admit. So here they may internally keep score of the effort and the respect. And then all of a sudden, some people think that, oh, this is the first mistake. At least that's what they think. But they don't even understand that that wasn't even strike one yet. So here, the other person never realizes that how many opportunities have they already received before that. Now, Pisces, oftentimes, they don't need revenge. So here, it could be you probably heard this before that, hey, the Pisces would rather, protect their peace. So here, someone expects a dramatic reaction from a Pisces and simply doesn't get one, because a Pisces could be like, hey, just keep it, I'm good. And see, the offender never learns because the Pisces simply removes access. Now, another thing with Pisces, they can feel alone in the crowd. So here, they oftentimes seek depth rather than quantity. So they could be surrounded by friends, but no real connection whatsoever. But that's okay, because a lot of times when it's too many people, it's not enough real ones anyway. So that's why Pisces would rather isolate themselves despite being socially active. Another thing with Pisces, they test consistency more than words. So here, actions matter more than promises to a Pisces. So let's say somebody says, hey, I've always been here for you. But a Pisces always wants to, call you on your bluff. So they'll say, well, hey, let's see. But then the person ends up thinking that their words build enough trust while their actions destroyed it. Now, Pisces, oftentimes, their boundaries are often invisible to others. That's why at times they don't always announce theirs, and they don't always announce limits, because a lot of times a Pisces just feels that, hey, you should just respect one to another. But Pisces, oftentimes, they keep observing repeated disrespect at the same time, because people can't see their silent boundaries. Now, even though you could have crossed them, you simply thought there wasn't a line or a boundary to begin with. But people oftentimes mistake the patience for permission. That's what ends up getting people caught in a loop. Now, another thing is that the calm Pisces is usually the most serious. Here, this is something that no one really talks about enough. And see, when emotions end up settling, the decisions get made at the same time. So it could be the simple fact that the dramatic arguments begin to stop. But it only happens when the Pisces get quiet. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, I got done. See? And then all of a sudden, people all the time, they mistake the peace for reconciliation when Pisces has already mentally moved on. See, that's the thing. It's all about what you can't see, because, when the Pisces realize they're done, they're always going to move on. But like I say, hardly anyone is able to see when they do so. Now, another thing, like I say, at the end of the day, empathy doesn't mean a lack of boundaries. Compassion doesn't mean unlimited access either. So when it comes to a Pisces, they just stay quiet. That don't mean that it's okay to assume that they're okay with what's happening between the both of you, because sometimes silence is the boundary in itself, which nobody talks about enough. So sometimes, like I say, the distancing that the Pisces creates is the answer. And by the time people realize it, the Pisces is already gone. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what's the fastest way to lose a Pisces. Until next time, stay aware, stay discerning, and remember, real recognize real.